Game 1 of the 2026 NBA Finals. San Antonio, the biggest stage basketball has to offer, and early in the contest, Jalen Brunson takes a hit to his right knee. Then he tweaks his ankle. He limps off the court and disappears into the tunnel. The whole arena goes quiet. Knicks fans hold their breath. And then he walks back out. He checks back into the game. And from that point forward, the man who was told he was too small, too slow, and picked too late to ever matter in this league drops 13 fourth-quarter points and finishes with 30 to steal Game 1 on the road. That image alone tells you everything about who Jalen Brunson is. But the full story is so much wilder than one game. It involves a $113 million sacrifice nobody saw coming, a Villanova brotherhood that rewrote an NBA roster, a father who spent 9 years bouncing between 8 teams just to stay in the league, and a collection of NBA legends who all independently arrived at the same jaw-dropping conclusion about a player they were told would never get here. Before Jalen ever touched a basketball at Madison Square Garden, his father Rick was already there. Rick Brunson went undrafted out of Temple in 1995 and spent 9 seasons fighting his way through the NBA. His inconsistent shooting and lack of speed were the reasons scouts passed on him. He got cut by the Sixers, bounced to Australia, played in the Philippines, scraped through the CBA, and eventually found a roster spot. He signed with the New York Knicks and was a member of the 1999 Eastern Conference Championship team. He had a 9-year NBA career, highlighted by being a member of that 1999 Finals squad, where he averaged 1 point per game in 17 minutes off the bench. He barely played in the actual finals. He was a footnote. 27 years later, his son is the captain. The Brunson family moved 7 times before settling in 2010 in Lincolnshire, Illinois. That kind of instability either breaks a kid or builds one. In Jalen's case, it built something bulletproof. His parents emphasized the quote, "The magic is in the work," from the time he was a child. They had it on his mirror, on the walls, everywhere he looked. That wasn't just a phrase, it was programming. And it worked because in June 2022, the Knicks hired Rick as an assistant coach, and a month later, his son signed a 4-year, $104 million contract to join him. Father and son, same franchise, same floor, same mission, but the mission was just getting started. For 4 years in Dallas, Jalen Brunson was the other guy. Luka Doncic was the franchise. Brunson was the reliable sidekick, the one who ran the offense when Luka sat, the one who made smart plays but never made the highlight reel, and the entire basketball world was perfectly comfortable keeping him in that box. Then the 2022 playoffs happened. Luka went down with an injury against the Utah Jazz, and suddenly Brunson had no safety net, no superstar to absorb the pressure, no one else to take the last shot. And what did he do? He dropped 41 points. He carried the Mavericks to a win they had no business getting. He tilted an entire series on its axis. And Luka, watching from the bench, said something that sticks. He said he sat there watching his teammate and thought, this person is something different. What makes Luka's testimony matter is the context. He has played with and against the best players on the planet. He knows what elite looks like from the inside. And yet Brunson, operating alone without a safety net, genuinely amazed him. The only thing that surprised Luka afterward was the speed. Not that Brunson's rise happened. He always believed it would, just that it happened this fast, on this stage, in front of the entire basketball world. Dallas didn't offer the max. That decision will haunt them for the rest of this decade. Here's where the story takes a turn that almost nobody in professional sports has ever made. In 2024, Brunson agreed to a 4-year, $156.5 million deal with the Knicks, even though he could have gotten a 5-year, $269 million contract. It was a $113 million discount. He made that sacrifice so that the Knicks could build a better team around him. Let that sit for a second. $113 million. That's more than most people will see in 10 lifetimes, and he left it on the table, not because he didn't know his worth, but because he studied the blueprint: Tom Brady, Derek Jeter, Patrick Mahomes. He looked at what championship architects do, and he chose the trophy over the paycheck. "If I'm thinking about playing well to make sure I get paid, that could mess with me," Brunson told Vanity Fair. "I play best when I have a free mind, and that did that for me." The Knicks used that cap space to bring in Karl Anthony Towns, acquire Mikal Bridges, and retain OG Anunoby, transforming the roster into a legitimate championship contender. Brunson's deal came in at around $39.1 million a year, shockingly even lower than Anunoby's. When was the last time you had seen a first option agree to make less than the third? That's not just unusual. In today's NBA, that's practically unheard of. And here's the kicker: if he plays out his current contract and hits free agency in 2029, he'll be in line for a 5-year max worth an estimated $417.8 million, which would be the single largest contract in league history. The gamble was never about losing money. It was about betting on himself to win something money can't buy. And right now, he's 4 wins away from cashing that bet in. Most NBA rosters are assembled through trades, draft picks, and free agent negotiations. Cold transactions, business deals. The Knicks roster has something different at its core, something that started in a college gym over a decade ago. The Villanova pipeline to the New York Knicks is well documented. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges were teammates on a Wildcats roster that won national championships in 2016 and 2018. Should Hart, Bridges, and Brunson lead the Knicks to the NBA championship, they will become the first trio of teammates to play on the same college and NBA title-winning teams. History. Actual, unprecedented history. And the funny part is, the brotherhood almost didn't happen. Hart jokingly admitted before Game 1 of the NBA Finals that he initially hated Brunson, calling him an annoying 5-star recruit that come in entitled. He said the same about Bridges, who played the same position and used to grab him in practice. But that friction forged something real. Former Villanova coach Kyle Neptune described the dynamic. There was a unique bond. They truly liked each other. These guys had real relationships. Now, on the Knicks, that bond translates into a shared basketball language that no trade deadline acquisition can replicate. While Brunson provides the scoring punch and Bridges' perimeter resistance, Hart has been the ultimate glue guy. They know where each other will be before the play even develops. They finish each other's sentences on the court the way only teammates who have been through war together can. And that war started long before the NBA. What makes the Brunson story different from a typical breakout narrative is the sheer volume of legendary voices that have co-signed it. We're not talking about one retired player offering a nice soundbite. We're talking about a cross-generational, cross-positional consensus from the most credible voices basketball has ever produced. Chris Paul, the greatest floor general the position has ever seen, pointed to Brunson's pick-and-roll mastery and pace control as something that stands apart in the modern game. Shaquille O'Neal, the most physically dominant player in NBA history, said that a 6'2" guard who does 4 different things correctly on every possession is the kind of player you cannot scheme away. Scottie Pippen, who spent 6 championships perfecting the art of elevating teammates, recognized in Brunson the rarest quality in basketball: the ability to make everyone around you better without sacrificing your own production. Tracy McGrady, one of the 5 greatest pure scorers to ever lace them up, placed Brunson's mid-range game alongside the most creative shot creators of the past 3 decades. Kevin Durant used the words Hall of Fame in the same sentence as Brunson's name. LeBron James called him more than an all-star level player. Draymond Green called guarding him in a pick-and-roll almost impossible. Gilbert Arenas compared his fourth-quarter mentality to Kobe Bryant. Coach Mike Brown, who spent years watching Steph Curry up close, compared Brunson's determination to Curry and Tim Duncan, saying their quiet strength is what they all have in common. None of these people were reading from the same script. None of them were coordinating. They were all just watching the same player and independently arriving at the same undeniable conclusion. That doesn't happen by accident. For every legend who praised Brunson, there was a skeptic who said it wouldn't last. Stephen A. Smith was the loudest. He hammered the Brunson signing on national television, repeatedly, with the full force of his platform. He said a second-round pick with no all-star pedigree couldn't be the centerpiece of a Knicks resurgence. And at the time, the argument wasn't completely ridiculous. The risk was real. The uncertainty was genuine. But then Brunson went out and made every single one of those takes age like milk left in the sun. And to Stephen A's credit, he eventually sat in front of a camera and admitted he had missed on Brunson as badly as he had ever missed on any player in his broadcasting career. That's not something Stephen A does lightly. His brand is built on conviction. For Brunson to force a full public reversal from the loudest voice in sports media tells you exactly how overwhelming the evidence became. And yet, even after all that, the disrespect kept coming in quieter forms. In 2026, Brunson received 0 MVP votes despite being an All-NBA guard, a 3-time All-Star, and the reigning Clutch Player of the Year. 0. Brunson is averaging 9.5 points per fourth quarter during New York's dominant playoff run, and only 5 players in the play-by-play era have averaged more fourth-quarter points this deep into the postseason. The others on that list: Dirk Nowitzki in 2011, LeBron James in 2006, Kobe Bryant in 2003, Michael Jordan in 1997. Read those names again, slowly. And then ask yourself how the man sitting alongside them on that list didn't get a single MVP vote. But maybe that's the fuel. Maybe the disrespect is the engine. Everything Brunson has built, every sacrifice, every silent night in the gym, every doubter he absorbed, it all comes down to right now. Brunson was unanimously named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP after leading New York to a resounding series sweep against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He averaged 25.5 points and 7.8 assists per game against Cleveland, while shooting 48.7% overall. In Game 1 of that series, his 38-point masterpiece fueled New York's comeback from a 22-point hole in the fourth quarter. Walt Frazier and Patrick Ewing presented the ECF MVP trophy to Brunson in what felt less like an award ceremony and more like a passing of the torch. 2 franchise icons handing the crown to the man carrying their legacy forward. Then came the finals. Brunson scored 30 points on 12 for 31 shooting in Game 1 against San Antonio. Not the most efficient night, but he scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, making 5 of 9 shots, including his only 3-pointer, and produced the offense necessary to steal a 1-0 series lead on the road. He did all of that after limping off the court twice with leg and ankle injuries. In Game 2, the Knicks overcame another inefficient shooting night from Brunson, who went 7 of 25, but still dished 6 assists, picked up 5 steals, and connected on a game-tying jumper late in the fourth quarter. He also hit a free throw to give the Knicks a 1-point lead before Wembanyama missed a game-winning shot to seal a 105-104 victory. New York now holds a 2-0 series lead. Brunson leads the finals MVP ladder, making a bold opening statement with a strong finish to Game 1 and raising the bar for the field. The New York Knicks are 3 wins away from their first championship since 1973. Take a step back and look at the full picture. A kid whose father went undrafted, bounced between 8 teams across 9 seasons, and barely touched the floor in the 1999 finals. That kid grows up moving from city to city, staring at a phrase on his mirror every morning. The magic is in the work. He goes to Villanova, wins 2 national championships, and still falls to pick 33. He spends 4 years in Dallas as the other guy. He signs with the Knicks for less money than he was worth, and then he signs again for $113 million less than he could have earned because he wanted to build something bigger than one contract. When Walt Frazier publicly anointed Brunson as the new face of the franchise, he said, "It's been a long time, carrying on the tradition, passing it down to Jalen. He's the guy now who has to carry it, and he's carrying it, into the finals, against Victor Wembanyama. With his father coaching from the same bench that Rick Brunson barely played on 27 years ago, some are already asking, is this the most clutch playoff run in NBA history? Maybe, maybe not. But here's what's not debatable. Every legend who said this man was different was right. Every skeptic who said he wasn't the answer was wrong. And right now, in June 2026, the 33rd pick in the 2018 draft is 4 wins away from doing what Patrick Ewing couldn't, what Carmelo Anthony couldn't, what every Knicks star since 1973 has failed to do. Bring a championship back to New York. So the only question left is the one that matters most. Can Jalen Brunson finish the story? Drop your answer in the comments. If this kind of deep basketball storytelling is what you live for, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss one. We'll see you in the next one.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.